answers on daily fantasy football, look no further.
Patriots win the Super Bowl!
The stats have been compiled. The research is done. So come on and win a mill with D-Will.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy D-Will right here in the Urban After Dark Studios, and I am glad that once again we are getting close to football season. I can't tell you how excited I am about this. This is football season, and this, our very first show of the year, is about what rookies will actually score you some points this year. You know, this is all about being able to have the opportunity to win $1 million this year in fantasy football, more specifically the daily fantasy football sport. We want you to be able to log into FanDuel or DraftKings or wherever it is that you're actually playing and be able to have a chance to win $1 million. So that's what we actually do, is to gather all the information for you and then spill it out to you so that you'll have the upper hand on your opponent. So we're going to start off right after the draft here, looking at which players will actually be able, which rookies rather, will actually be able to score you some points this year. And we're going to start with quarterbacks, and this is going to be really short because none of them is my answer. None of the quarterbacks drafted are really going to be able to score you any points, at least in the first couple of rounds. I mean, you can make arguments that some of these guys may become starters throughout the year. But there is not a starter on a team that's going to score enough points for you not to want to utilize one of the bigger starters. The quarterbacks that came in, although I do believe some of them will be very good players, especially not in week one, and I'm not sure at what point in the year you will be able to utilize any of them. So that brings us to the one category where I believe most of the players, most of the rookies who were drafted that may be able to assist us will come from, and that is running back. Now, the running backs, you got a couple people. You got Saquon Barkley from the Giants. You actually have, and I believe his name is Darius Geese. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that, but from the Redskins. Royce Freeman over at the Broncos. All three of those guys should be starters. Again, Saquon Barkley with the Giants, Darius Geese with the Redskins, Royce Freeman with the Broncos. All of those should be starters. Now, I will say that you may actually get Rashad Penny over in Seattle, but I'm not really sure that his offensive line is going to be able to hold up. So because of that, I just can't make the assumption that he's going to be the one to actually score you a whole lot of points just because of the suspect offensive line over in Seattle. Now, out of all these, when you start comparing them to other running backs, I'm not really sure who you leave out, but when you start to talk about some picks that will save you some money, it's all about being able to take those value picks early in the year before they start to go up that can make you money. We saw that last year in Kansas City, and I believe that you can find it in a few of these players, one of those three players, either Saquon Barkley, Darius, or Royce. You should be able to find some value, but I'm going to stick with my home team on this one. Michael Gallup, wide receivers for the Cowboys, is going to be my suggestion for the one player who will bring you the most value with very little money. We really don't know what the money is going to be yet. They haven't exactly released those yet. However, this is what I'm thinking. First of all, Dak Prescott has lost both Dez Bryant, and he's lost his starting tight end, who was his security blanket, in Jason Witten, and he's going to have to start throwing to a new group of players. Now, out of this new group of players, there are some people like Allen Hurns and some Terrence Williamses and the Cole Beasleys and all of those guys, but his biggest problem, when I talk about his, I'm talking about Dak Prescott. His biggest problem is not really wanting to take chances. Back in the day, Tony Romo threw a lot of what we would call 50-50 balls to Dez Bryant. Those are the balls that he kind of put up there, and either Dez was going to catch it or it was going to be incomplete. And Dez was an athlete. He went up and caught a lot of them, and that's kind of how he made his name. Running routes, unfortunately, has not been considered his strong suit, although I will argue in a different conversation that he does have some ability there too that people aren't paying attention to, and there may be a lack of accuracy there with Dak as well that starts to cause a problem. But we're not talking about Dak right now. We're talking about Michael Gallup, and What I will say is that he has some of the route running skills necessary to get open. And since Dak Prescott doesn't really like to throw to you unless you are wide open, I believe that Michael Gallup is the type of wide receiver who runs those quality routes, getting open in space, that Dak Prescott would be able to find comfortability in being able to throw to him and him to be able to make some of the bigger plays. So I'm just going to go out on a limb in this first issue. We will start to come back right around the middle of the preseason to talk specifically about the first week. We've even considered possibly doing some stuff during the preseason time, but we'll kind of let you know as we decide to move forward with it. But Michael Gallup is going to be the player that we feel like is going to give you, as far as rookies, that's going to give you some value picks as early as week 1. We will also suggest maybe the Saquon Barkley's. I believe for the Giants, he's going to be able to give you a value play. I'm not sure you'd pick him over Zeke Elliott, who does have a refurbished, I would say, but corrected offensive line. I think that the Cowboys may have a powerful offensive line again, which could not be said for last year with some of the holes that they have. They've corrected some of those. And so when you start to talk about taking some of these running backs that we talked about over players like that, the players in Green Bay, even Holmes out in Kansas City, I'm not sure that you could just make the argument that one of these running backs would be the one giving you the points that you would suggest, even in value. However, you can try them. But my suggestion as of right now is going to be in Michael Gallup, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. Well, it was fun being able to start the year off with you guys. I hope that you're looking forward to the season as much as I am. I'm going to make one last suggestion, and that is to start putting your coins back now. Little secret that I use, I try to put all my money in at the beginning of the year. If I have a quota that I want to match, let's say $20 a week, I'll take that $20 by the 17 weeks that's in the year, that's in the season, and I'll put in $340 early. That way I know that I'm limiting the amount that I'm actually gambling, and in that case I can take out the money when I win, knowing that I still have money in there for the next week, and it allows me to be able to utilize and kind of see my winnings a little bit better. So that's just a suggestion from me, guys. We look forward to it for this week. Mark my words, Michael Gallup is going to be the one that you're going to want to use in week 1, and we look forward to being back halfway through preseason. All right, guys, we're out. It's Urban After Dark Studios. Cheers.